EMP TV and film presentation from Crazy D, the mind who brings you the Black Ice Chronicles, the Females DVD, and Situations DVD, brings you The Shifter. It's Halloween night at Crazy D's, and a pesky vamp is out for blood. Beware of the Shifter.
That's it. You gotta go beat it damn scram, man. Damn.
Why don't you be a doll and find me a place to change? I need a place to change my clothes before I go.
What? Don't try to hold me on the phone.
D, you been holding out on me?
I was just about to stop and help. You know I helped the crackheads, D.
Some people just don't have originality with their outfits.
It's like I hear voices in my head talking to me and shit.
I saw that punk ass Charles Pippen and his cousin leaving here.
I learned the grace pose. Get your camera ready.
We're here, like we said, for trick or treat. Crazy, what did you see? Just inspired by something.
You see that shit?
That crazy fuck in there.
Oh, what? Right. She can't stand that shit.
Well, who's the pet bitch?
Like,
What the fuck was she need all hoes? I saw her to scratch that poke that bitch eye.
Beware of the Shifter. Be at the premiere if you dare.
Brother Muhammad, if you, I see you got the sax. If you can hit it, we just gonna move the mic out the way and just let you go ahead and hit it. We're over here at the West Las Vegas Library Theater as part of the summer program for our youth. Brother Muhammad participated. Let's see what you got. Oh, that's the alumni, y'all. If y'all don't know what happens over here at this class, this is amazing. This brother participated way back when, and I was here giving back. Brother Muhammad, thank you so much. One of the alumni of the Summer Las Vegas Performing Arts Program. At the helm, one of the folks that you gotta say is putting it down, because while the youth may not know, we know. While we don't know where he goes and what happens, when you have talent that's willing to share and give back to the community, as in the form of the icon that's sitting right here next to me, I'm gonna tell you, this brother meant something to me, and still does, because the images that he created put my life in front of me on TV and on film. I'm not gonna tell you how many films he's been in and how many things he's done. I'm just gonna tell you, he already has a day here in Las Vegas. That's right. We have an Antonio Fargas Day. They may not have other things, but we got Antonio Fargas Day, historically bound in history forever, as part of our Kemet in the Desert series. I know the man's work. Thank you so much for making time to vote with our youth in the Summer Arts Program. Mr. Antonio Fargas, thank you so much. How are you doing, icon?
And we are back. It's your man, the Turntable Assassin, and I promised you I was going to have, and I said it, that's right, I'm country, we going to have. I have the beautiful, the talented, the gifted. I grew up with this lady. I love her. Can I keep it on? Listen. 100, my first crush. I'm so serious, my first crush. Before Janet, I couldn't have a crush on Janet. She was little Penny. I couldn't crush on Penny, but I crushed on Thelma. But ladies and gentlemen, the beautiful Miss Bernadette Stannis. Hey.
Thank you. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
You know what? I told you, we don't do interviews.
Right.
We just going to have a conversation.
Yes.
What is going on with Bernadette Stannis right now?
The Black Ice Chronicles, Females DVD.
I don't think you realize who the f you talking to.
Written, filmed, and directed by Crazy D.
Look, Crazy, I want to work with you. So, how long before we start shooting? I don't have all day, but
You don't have all day.
Selling now.
I see you still got them lips.
This is a reality that's going on right now in the streets. People are being targeted. People are being, just the whole 9 yards. In many ways, snatched up, railroaded into a prison industrial complex system, and there you go, becoming the new modern day slave.
Okay, the reason why I asked that question is more as far as the person protecting himself, not outward appearance, because I realize that as human beings, we should be able to dress like we like to dress, right? Because even in the 20s and 30s, 40s and 50s, when the zoot suits were out and the men were dressed in three-piece suits, the police would drive up to the corners, and it would be a scatter mode, still the same, even though they were dressed to the nines, so to speak. Yeah. So it doesn't matter how we're dressed. What I'm saying is, how do we get our youth and our young men to be aware that they're hunted, and thus be aware of surroundings? And that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about more for us, not for our outward appearance to someone else.
Yeah, I got you on that, because as you begin to talk about that in terms of not having to be regulated into wearing whatever it is that the society wants us to wear, we should be able to define for ourselves what we want for ourselves. I remember that campaign that was out not too long ago, where the RZA had said something kind of similar, where hey man, people should be dressing differently in order to do this and that, and all of a sudden there was this huge Tell RZA person was in a suit was going on. Of course, you had the Sanctuary, Without Sanctuary, the book that showed clearly countless number of black people in this country, Africans in this country, America, being lynched, being strung up on trees and having their lives taken away from them, and they were dressed in suits,
or in army or military uniform.
Yes.
Bars.
I said every verse is dedicated to my day ones, who always kept it G and never changed up. The big homies who's the reason why we came up, and they taught us game and ain't let this town change us. I can't forget my Brody Keys, homie Caged Up. We make you move so that when you home, you A1.
Really though, if you with a person hating on your dream, you gotta leave that motherfucker. Cause they ain't cool for you. They hating. They not right for you though. You got you some dreams, man. You better chase them dreams. If you ain't got no dreams, all you got is nightmares. Okay. Just keep it real. Just a little bit from me to from me to you. Now with that being said, some dreams got expiration dates. Like if you was born before 1970 and you ain't never been in no rap video, you might want to stop rapping, nigga. Like for real, quit playing though. Quit playing though. Go full time at the job. Why is you playing?
Here's the thing about Germany, why I made a curator's pick of the Hollywood Fringe Festival. Community, heart, your flag.
Hi, this is Marva King, and I am here with the film review. That part, baby.
It's your boy B-Town's Power 88. You know how it is. We're going down the world famous Bomb Squad. Right now, you're chilling with my man Crazy D, and you're checking out the film review. We got movies, music, culture, politics, and all types of society events going on right here on the film review.
What up? You know who it is. It's the infamous one, the infamous DJ Remix. And it's a big ass shirt, but I'm going to represent for Lordland Films. That's how we do it. Lordland Films, I'm just saying. You have been warned.
What's up? This your man DJ Movie, the Party Rocker, representing Power 88 FM, and you are watching the film review.
Hey, what's up? This is Tori Russell, the founder and director of Broadway in the Hood. We love you all. Reach Broadway in the Hood at broadwayinthehood.org or 702-482-8777. You are watching and looking at the film review.
Crazy D, y'all. The legendary Crazy D. Crazy D is before his time. The musical digital man. And I want to say right now, what's up to Crazy D? Crazy D always one of my #1 supporters, man. A good man, good family man. Crazy D. Tell everybody where to follow you at right now. I want everybody to go follow Crazy D.
What up, Crazy? Crazy D, the legendary Crazy D. What up, dog? Yo, Nipsey got some joints, man.
All right, people. This is Crazy D, and I'm standing here with, of course, Sharon from TC's Barbecue Crib. Go over here so you can see the sign real quick.
You know we need a black television station because nobody is going to be there for us like we are. So come out and support. It's a free event from 6:30 to 9:30. It'll be live entertainment. You'll be able to receive information on the channel, how to get the channel, if you want to have content on the channel.
That's right. And remember, the event is free, but the food isn't. So come early and get a meal. See you tomorrow. TC's Barbecue Crib.
Hi, this is Bernadette Stanis, Thelma from Good Times, and you're watching the film review.
So she just left. Film review. It's a film review. Thought you knew.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rodney Smith with the film review.
This is another great episode of the film review.
We are the husband and wife team. We are the husband and wife team. We are the husband and wife team. Stay tuned. We're the husband and wife team. I'm Tracey D. And this is the film review. Stay tuned. We got a lot to talk about. We are the husband and wife team that review movies, music, culture, politics, and society.
This is the film review. Movies, music, culture, politics, and society. We're the husband and wife team. I'm Crazy D.
Tracy.
And we review movies, music, culture, politics, and society.
Sunday at 5:30 on Crazy on Deeyon page on Facebook. Live stream. The film review. Movies, music, culture, politics, and society.
This is the film review.
Here we go. What's going on, people?
Hello.
How y'all doing? Listen, this is another great episode of the film review.
Yes.
Movies, music, culture, politics, and society. We are your hosts. I'm Crazy D.
I'm Tracy.
and we review movies, music, culture, politics, and society. And do we have a great show for you today?
Yes.
Listen, to call in 213-943-3358. 213-943-3358. We are simulcasting over so many pages on Facebook. We're simulcasting right now on Blog Talk Radio. That's how you can call in. You can see the number right on our page, on the Crazy and Deeyon page. And I'm trying to see why this isn't doing what it needs to do. So let me bring this up real quick and try to fix this real quick with this real quick so that we don't have that. There we go.
Okay.
Now we're playing with power. Now listen, people, let's get some housekeeping out the way first, right? So let's get some housekeeping out first. Let's bring this up. First of all, you know what we're wearing.
Yep. The film review.
That's right. We are wearing the film review shirts, right? So you see that barcode there. You can scan that barcode right now, and you can get right there to the Patreon page.
Yes.
Right, where you can order the shirts. Or you can go to lordlandfilms.com, lordlandfilms.com, and then you click memberships on the Navi bar, and then there's various different memberships. There's Emerald, there's Diamond, there's Gold, and then there's Platinum. And then when you become a member, you receive a shirt, right? So we want to say that. Also, getting the housekeeping out the way. Open up another box wherever, if you're watching us on your smartphone, if you're watching us on your Mac or your PC or your tablet, open up another window and go to YouTube and search TV shows and films created by Crazy D. That's TV shows and films created by Crazy D. When you click that, you will go straight to the YouTube channel. Subscribe. All of the content is there, where you can see everything that Crazy D does from way back, all the way back to when the channel was first created, right? So you go there, you're able to see that. Then also go to vimeo.com/showcase/by Crazy D. And then you can also subscribe there, because that particular site right there is the latest programming, right? And then you'll be able to see the replay of this show and all of the various film review shows, from Bars to the music review show. I mean, it's just phenomenal what we're doing, what we're putting across. So as we continue on, as we get through the, what did I call that? I called that the housekeeping. As we get through housekeeping, let's put this up now. You see that cover, people? July 30th, the 4th edition of the Film Review Music Review Show comes out. That's right, it's the 4th edition of the Music Review Show, right? And it is a jam-packed show. It is banging. We got acts on there. We also have the exclusive interview with, let me bring this up. We have the exclusive interview with Craig Knight, conducted by DJ Thump from Power 88. Craig Knight has a jamming record out.
Really nice.
Staying in My Lane, right? Under the Smooth Sizzle moniker. And the song is just bamming and jamming, and we are debuting it. It's having its the Film Review Music Review Show debut on July 30th. Plus, there's an interview segment on there just before we begin, right? Just before we begin showing the video. That's what happens. Also, we have to say, as we get all the housekeeping out the way, let me do this.
It's a lot of good music.
We have the
film review debut of I.C. Jones and Leland, and they have a song called Victorious. Now you can go over to the Facebook page where we're playing right now called Consciousness, Politics, Entertainment, and Females, and you can actually read the review that I wrote, that I just put up yesterday on the single. And then you'll be able to hear the single July 30th on the Film Review Music Review Show, episode 4. The only show of its kind where we push songs that we like to hear in independent films and Hollywood movies, right? So as we move through all the housekeeping here. Now, as usual, people, we have to let you know that this broadcast is brought to you by TC's Barbecue Crib. They are our first advertisement partner, right? And they are located at 3655 South Durango Drive in Las Vegas, Nevada. It is a place when you land, you have to take an Uber. Or rent you a car and make sure that you come off the strip and you go to TC's Barbecue Crib. It is a tourist attraction.
It is.
And the food is excellent. The staff is excellent. Sharon, it's a home feel. When you eat the barbecue, if you eat the barbecue chicken, barbecue ribs,
turkey burgers,
or the turkey burger, right?
Or we can't forget about the breakfast.
Oh yeah, the breakfast. That's like chicken and waffles. When you go there,
pancakes,
sausage, when you go there,
everything, eggs.
Yeah, that's right. When you go there, you will have that home environment, because the home environment and the family environment is on the walls, right? So, they're our advertising partner, and we definitely appreciate them. We make sure that they're everywhere that we go, right? Now, also, which is not pictured, right, is the film review periodical, right? You go to TC's Barbecue Crib. You see that right there on the wall. You can see the number. Move out the way, show them the number. 702-451 ribs. That's right. You place your order. You go in. You grab the pamphlet. You scan it. You get a discount on one full meal at TC's Barbecue Crib, right? So we want to tell you that because, we make it happen. Make sure you go and pick that up. You can pick up the film review periodical. You can pick it up in the lobby of KCEP Power 88, and you can also pick it up at TC's Barbecue Crib, and it's going to be across the city, right? So now, as we go, let me make sure that before we bring this up that I went through everything that we needed to go through to start out with. Let's see. Yes, I did that. All right. So now, that our review tonight is on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, written and directed by Quentin Tarantino, right? It's his 9th film, right? And I believe that he said that he's only going to do 9 films, so we'll see about that, right? But which brings us into what the topic is tonight. What the movie really represented was about love and loyalty. So without further ado, let me bring this up. This is what we're reviewing tonight. Once Upon a Time.
In Hollywood.
In Hollywood. Now, the cast. Leo DiCaprio plays Rick Dalton. Brad Pitt plays Cliff Booth. Margot Robbie plays Sharon Tate. Margaret Qualley plays Pussycat. Al Pacino plays Marvin Swartz, not Swartz, because it's not a T at the end. He makes sure that he says it's Swartz because he's not a Swartz, right? So basically, Quentin Tarantino changes up his whole get up, his whole makeup, the whole style of filmmaking is totally changed. Now, when we first, when we wrote it up, I asked the question so that you would, know what we were going to talk about tonight. Is this Quentin Tarantino's greatest work? We're going to talk about it. Is it full of racist tropes like many of his films are?
Oh my God.
Starting back with Reservoir Dogs. And what about how Bruce Lee was portrayed, depicted and portrayed in the movie? What about that?
Well, first of all, it is extremely hot out here in Vegas.
Yes, it is hot.
Even with the air conditioning on.
Yeah, you can say that again.
So I am going to.
Yeah, take a sip.
The label's covered.
Right. So we're gonna take a sip, as we start there, as we start right there. Let me push this and start the watch party, so you can tune in with the watch party.
And was the film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Was it worth the wait?
Was it worth the
wait?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Okay. So, first of all, let me get the racist tropes situation out the way first. Glad to say that, because when we walked into the film, I said there is no way that the N-word is going to be delivered in this film. I said there's no way, there's no need for it to be delivered, so it's not going to be delivered in the film. That's the first thing I said. So I said when we walk in here, there's no way that the N-word is going to be dropped off in this film. There's no need for it to be dropped off, right? All right. Iris said, nice. Keep tagging me in, Iris. All right, thanks for tuning. Thanks for chiming in. Right. So I said there's no way there will be any. So I am glad to say that there is not. No. There is no N-word in this film.
Not one.
Anywhere. Not one, because of the cast that they were dealing with. There was no need for there to be.
I didn't expect for there to be.
Well, there is a little scene. There's a little word with the Bruce Lee character, which I'm going to break down the Bruce Lee character next, before we get to the plot of the movie and everything. Now, you've seen the preview, so that's no spoiler. You know that the Cliff Booth character, played by Brad Pitt, gets into a disagreement behind the scenes, I guess, on the set of in the studio lot with the Bruce Lee character. Now, the Bruce Lee character is never called Bruce Lee, but anybody who knows Bruce Lee, and they knew that he played on the Green Hornet. Now, this is supposed to be during the Green Hornet time, right? Just before Bruce Lee really blew, he was on the Green Hornet as Kato. So the Booth character calls him Kato in the film. So he's never referred to as Bruce Lee, but that this is Bruce Lee. Okay, so they get into this disagreement and about lethal weapons, hands being lethal weapons like boxers.
And that was a good
all
scene.
that, and then the Booth character says, well, anyone who kills somebody in a fight, they would be charged with manslaughter. So that talking about lethal hands is just a bull saying that you don't want to get into it, right?
And they show that in the trailer.
They show that in the trailer, so that's not a spoiler, because we're not going to spoil none, right? But so they get into it. So now, as you see in the trailer, they show Bruce Lee is kind of cocky, right? And his daughter, there was a movie that came out in 2010, right? The movie in 2010 was called Ip Man or Imp Man, IP Man or Imp Man. The Imp Man was the one who trained Bruce Lee from 13 years old to 18 years old. There was a discrepancy with Bruce Lee because Bruce Lee was not 100% Chinese.
Oh,
he was a quarter. Right. He was a quarter a quarter European, Caucasian, right. And not European, but Caucasian. Right. And in their culture at the time, they didn't believe in training the West because they saw the West as the devil, like many different cultures do, from what people do. So he had to stop training, but then he came back later, and then the teacher trained him as the things lessened, right? So his daughter was on Sway, and there's also video on YouTube where they talk about this film.
Okay.
And she talks about how there was a fight between a man named Wong Jackman, who came. There was in the time when Bruce Lee was in San Francisco, Oakland. He was staying in Oakland, and then the traditionalists were like kind of across the bridge in San Francisco. And the traditionalist Chinese believed that you don't teach the West, right? But there was non-traditionalists in Oakland, and Bruce Lee was one of those. So they brought the Wong Jackman character, and what his daughter says is the fight was not like this movie called Birth of a Dragon. Now, we saw that film, and it made Bruce Lee seem very arrogant, and this film portrays him as very arrogant. And I always wonder, seeing the trailer, I wonder what his daughter felt about, how they portrayed him. I haven't heard anything, but she has the licensing of his image, his name, his brand, and I noticed that they did not label him as Bruce Lee, but as Kato.
Yeah, because the other characters in the film, the names are underneath the names, like what Steve McQueen, and what you said in the theater. They did a really good matchup because the actor actually
looked like Steve McQueen. Yeah, it looked like later Steve McQueen. And so, I wondered about that because I thought that was a little bit inaccurate, because the daughter tells a story about when Bruce Lee was on a set and there was the head stuntman. He was like in head of the stuntmen, and he kept calling Bruce Lee a paper dragging, meaning that he wasn't really a martial artist. He was just on film. And so after a while he kept going on, and he riled up the other stunt people, and he said, well, you want to go? Let's go. So it seemed like to me Bruce Lee was a humble person by the way that she told the story, but when it was time to get down, he just got down. And so he got down and he beat the guy. He put him down twice, and then the guy was like, it's over. So these accounts are where Quentin pulls the scenes from. But other than that, watch it. It's that's an interesting scene.
Yeah, because when I saw the scene, I thought of it as just two guys, behind the scenes, because there was a break in between the filming of the show, right? So just the cast and everybody just standing around, just having a good time, just messing with each other. So I saw this, Bruce Lee and Cliff Booth, played by Brad Pitt, just joshing each other. Is that the terminology? Just going back and forth, just teasing each other, like a fun scene.
Right, but the scene though is hilarious.
Yeah.
When you go there, that is one of the scenes to look forward to. I mean, it's hilarious in the trailer. Yeah. So you know that it's
even better
hilarious
when you see the entire scene in the film.
You see the entire film, and you see what Cliff Booth is accused of. Right. I mean, it makes it even more. It makes it even more entertaining. Okay, so that's a brief history on Bruce Lee through his daughter's eyes, right, and through the film. Make sure you go check out that film because it's a good film. Imp Man, 2010. He trained him from 13 years old to 18 years old, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood it opens up in a flashback sequence, really. Like Quentin Tarantino is changing up, you know, the way a story is supposed to quote unquote be told on film, right? Like they tell you when you open up a film, it's supposed to be in real time, representing REAL time on the real REEL time, meaning that what's happening on the screen, what introduces you to the character, should be not in a flashback. It should be in real time, meaning it's happening in modern day or modern day within the piece. But they start back with a flashback to introduce you to the two characters. Genius, right? And you've seen that in the trailer too, where the guy is interviewing the two, and they say, "Do you think that you hold his load?" And he said, "Do I hold his load?" Pretty much. And then the people laugh and stuff, and so that's something that happened 8 years previous to when it comes to modern day. Right?
Now opens up their relationship.
That opens
like
up
the
the
brotherhood. You know, you would think they were actual blood brothers.
So what's happening is this storyline is surrounding the Tate murders. For those who don't know, between August 8th and 9th of 1969, Charles Manson's followers, he was a cult leader, and you know, he just recently died in prison. He never got out. But anyway, they go in and they heinously murder Sharon Tate and 5 of her friends.
Who at the time she was pregnant.
She was pregnant at the time, and she was married to Polanski.
Yeah, Roman Polanski.
Roman Polanski.
Director.
He was back in Italy shooting a film, right? Well, he was in Europe shooting a film. I'll say that to be more correct, right? He was in Italy shooting a film when all of this.
Italy again.
Europe. At the time when all of these.
I think you're thinking about Italy because the character.
No, we'll get to that. I don't want to do it. But
Italy takes place in the film.
Yeah. So he's overseas.
Right.
Let's just say that.
Right.
When the murders take place, and so the whole trajectory of what their life would have been, having a baby boy or a girl, or, and such, and all that. All of that is wiped away in this heinous act, and then later in 1971, with 2 different trials, the women who were involved in the murder and he, Charles Manson, as the cult leader, was sentenced to life in prison.
No remorse. They showed no.
They showed no remorse, right? Okay. So this is what the film is wrapped around, around that situation, right?
During that period.
During that period of time.
Right.
So the film opens up about a year and a half before, maybe a year or a year and a half before August 8th and 9th, 1969. Okay. So you're introduced to the relationship between Cliff Booth, played by Brad Pitt, and Dalton. Let me make sure I got his name right. Rick Dalton, played by Leo DiCaprio. Yes. You're introduced to their relationship, right? And you see that they are more than just colleagues or just working together, that they are truly friends. And they have a loyalty and a love for each other that is unquestionable, right? And so you're seeing Rick Dalton, played by DiCaprio. Right. He's now on what he believes to be the lower half of his film career. He's went through being a TV star, and he's trying to break into film, but all they want him to do is be the villain that you see, and they get killed off, right? And so that's where You see this in the trailer, so this is not a spoiler.
Right.
But I'm just putting the context together. That's when you see Marvin Swartz, played by Al Pacino. That's where he comes in and he gives him an opportunity. So the film is kind of like based on, thanks for your review. I love this film and I will see it again soon. That's Raymond Harrison. Thanks, Raymond.
It is one of those films you want to see again because after we saw it, I believe you said we should go
see it again.
Yeah.
Because once you get over once you're able to get over the suspense that he puts in there, because he builds this story, which we're going to get to. We're going to break down the story, but without giving spoilers.
Right.
But once you get past the suspense, when you watch it again, then you'll be able to see a lot more. Like he transformed Hollywood 2019 back into Hollywood 1968, 1920, and 1969. Very believable. The clothing, we're going to get to
cars,
to the wardrobe, to the makeup, to the hair, to all that. We're going to get to all that. Okay.
He did a great job capturing not
that
only that
feel.
time, but California. I mean, the hills and everything. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. The cinematography is excellent, and not to mention the edit. We definitely need to get the person who edited its name.
Yeah.
So once we get to that point, we'll have it. Okay. So you're introduced, and he's aged, and he's worried, and the guy tells him the truth.
Yeah.
And he's perplexed. So the story is kind of like Quentin Tarantino kind of incorporates different actors' stories in this.
Yeah.
Whereas Clint Eastwood was a young actor coming off of Rawhide,
right,
and he needed to figure out what he was going to do next, and he went over to be in the spaghetti westerns
right,
in Italy.
Right.
You know, in Italy, like The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, which he was the cowboy with no name. That was, he did 3, they call them spaghetti westerns because they strung and told a story.
Yeah.
And he went over there, and then he was able to come back and then jumpstart his career because those films came over here translated in English and blew Clint Eastwood up. So this story is kind of like, whereas he's on the downturn of his career, he's older and he's on the downturn, but he goes over and does these and performs in these westerns, and it kind of rejuvenates his career, right? And so he's incorporating real people's stories and incorporating the Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski story is incredible. Barbara Ann Willis liked our post. Thanks for chiming in.
Thank you.
So him incorporating this, the story in, is just incredible. Okay, so now throw out everything that you think that you know about Quentin Tarantino films, because this is not the regular Quentin Tarantino blueprint. I just have to tell you straight up off the rip. It is not the regular Quentin Tarantino. Lorraine Jordan, she came in.
Hello.
Marianne Trussell, she came in. Mario Langa, he came in.
Hello.
Byron Birdsong, Stretch Sanders.
Hello.
Melanie Blake, she's in. What's up? Thanks for chiming in. So listen. So throw that out. For one thing, let me just say this off the top.
Yeah, Mel and Tyree.
That's right. Let me say this off the top. Go see this film.
Great.
Go see this film.
Yeah.
You will be entertained. Now listen.
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino takes time to introduce you to the main characters. He introduces, now in the trailer you see Tate, she's excited about going to the movies to see her film.
Yeah.
And
on
she
the big
says,
screen.
That's me in the film, right?
Yeah.
And so she's able to see herself, and she's very happy. So you're introduced to see who she is outside of the all the hoopla of being a starlet.
Margot
or
Robbie,
the it girl.
She did an excellent job playing her.
Yeah, that's right. She did an excellent job, and he matched them good because the scenes that he used from the from the movie that she was in,
Right.
with Dean Martin
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
It made her look like she was her.
Her, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that was a good look, right?
Yeah.
But so you get to really know who she is. And I found something else out, like being born on the planet after all this happens, the way that the media covers the situations, right? They make you think that she was famous, like just a big star before she died. They make you think like she's like Marilyn Monroe,
Right.
or something like that. And what Quentin Tarantino shows you is that she wasn't, that she was just
she was on a ride.
starting.
She was a new
She was the
Hollywood
it girl. She was
starlet.
the it girl, right?
Yeah.
And so she was not like a Marilyn Monroe. Like when Marilyn Monroe checked out, she had so many films. This woman was just
Beginning
starting
her career,
right?
Yeah.
And it was heinous because she was pregnant. She
Yeah.
was just about to
Yeah.
have the baby, right? And for them to do this, you know, it's real heinous, right? So you're introduced to her, right? Then you're introduced to I'm going to get to DiCaprio's character last, right? But you're introduced to Brad Pitt's character, Cliff Booth, right? You're introduced to him, and you find out that his life is more different than
Leo.
Dalton's character, right?
Yeah.
He is more free-spirited, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't have he doesn't necessarily have anything against the hippie movement,
right?
Because you see he's wearing moccasins, right? Like Indian moccasins, not like the moccasins that they made for you to go to private school with, but actual moccasins, right? And so you know that he's not
He's laid back.
He's laid back. He's not adverse to the hippies or whatnot, because you know the hippies were actually emulating what they thought it was to be Native American. Right? They had teepees and they lived off the land and they said F the pigs, and you know they did all this, right? So they were emulating what they thought was that. But when you research Charles Manson, you find out he didn't like hippies. He used that as a mask to mask the fact that what he was doing, he made them look like hippies. But when you check out the story, you find out they weren't. So you find out that he is a rough and rugged guy, and they have a flashback to tell you the story, and that's where you learn about the Bruce Lee, Kato character, right? Because it's not Bruce Lee, right? It's Kato, right? Kato character, and you find out why he seems to not be able to get work at this point.
Right.
So Rick Dalton, because they are friends, they are loyal to one another. He has him doing odd jobs, and he basically drives him around. He fixes things, and that's what you find out. And you find out who he is as a person when he picks up a hitchhiker.
Yeah, and it opens up.
And you find out who he is as a person, right? So you have to see this film just for that. There is some superb acting. Brad Pitt's acting in this. There's some Oscars coming off of this. I mean, I can see
Lots
this.
of Oscars.
So Brad Pitt's acting is one thing, right?
Because it's like, you know that Brad Pitt and Leo DiCaprio, you know they're good actors, right? So, but what they brought, the game that they brought, was just like over the top. Because you forget that you're looking at Brad Pitt and
Leo
DiCaprio, because they are really immersed into the characters they play.
They are.
Like even just the little details. So I'm not going to give it away, because you just have to see the film. And Fred Raskin, he did a great job editing the film.
Yeah, Fred Raskin.
Yeah.
You know,
great job.
Margot Robbie. There's some Oscars there, right? Al Pacino, who was a character that was used to express the doubt that Rick Dalton had in himself.
Yeah.
So that was to let the audience know he was a character placed there to describe what Rick Dalton was thinking in his head, right? And so that's what he was there for. Excellent. He was placed there. He did his job, and he delivers. Now, Leo DiCaprio is some kind of special dude in this picture in particular, right? Because he's playing a span of, I'll say, about 20 years, because they're flashing back to the last of the heyday of what he was doing, right? They're flashing back to that, but there's like a 20-year span where he's like a real superstar. This is like a film that's at the end of the golden age of Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
And so he's playing, you see him play the successful black and white in the black and white.
Yeah.
Then you see him questioning his ability to act, all right? Then you see him deliver a performance. Right. So he's delivering a performance within a performance within a performance, because he's actually acting for the film, acting like this character that's in a situation that is acting as an actor on set in a studio. So this whole situation of what he's doing and how he comes from out of character of being the actor in front of the camera to then appreciating what's being said. Like you saw that in the trailer where the little girl says, "That's some of the best acting I've ever seen."
Now, okay, so first of all, her name is Julia Butters, and her character is Trudy. And how great was she in the movie? Because what you see in the trailer is just a little bit. And when you see the character that she played, amazing. That little girl deserves the Oscar.
Yeah. She deserves supporting.
On point.
Right.
Yeah.
So
great supporting.
So his acting right there, and we really want to tell you, but it's a scene where he flubs, but then he comes back. It's just so great. You have to see this film, right?
Because I love how, like, real life. Because you even said that, whispered that in the theater. You said it's just kind of, it's like a movie set, really. You know, because people, they have to stop, you know, in the middle of the scene because sometimes they don't remember their line. Right. So it was just so real.
Yeah, that's right. Real. That's right. This is very important because, you know, back in Cleveland, I was used to working with MCs. And MCs, because they rap, they memorize lines quickly. And so I was able to give them the script. We run over it 3 times, and then we shot the masterpiece, which is The Shifter. If you haven't seen The Shifter, it's on Vimeo.com right now on the film review page on Vimeo. You go there, Vimeo.com/the film review, scroll through, and you'll see The Shifter, and you have to watch that film because it is a masterpiece. Everybody who came in, we wrote it, shot it, right? Everybody came in. The majority of the cast were MCs, right?
Case Western Reserve Laurels.
Yeah, Case Western Reserve Laurels, and it was the curator's choice for the Friends Fest film
in Hollywood. Speaking of Hollywood,
that's right. That's right. So you know, I'm laureled. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the piece. So what they showed you was how the actor calls out for lines. So when we got here in Las Vegas, I don't know what it was, but the people, like I have like 4 great actors that I've worked with in my whole time, right? Well, I have 5, but 4 that I can call on today, and we can shoot something and they'll be ready because they'll know their lines, right? But I came up with a situation because I am confident in my editing ability and my sound recording that I told the people here, we're going to, if you don't have a line, say line, then I'll call reset, and you reset yourself in your original motion, your original stance before you made the movement, and then we will get it. And so that's what I had to do. So when you watch my later things that are here in Las Vegas, I cut it, and it makes it seem like the actors knew their lines. It's nothing worse than an actor not knowing his line. But when I saw that's what they did in the Hollywood sets, I said, oh, look at that. They're showing what we did. And we do have that film behind the scenes, because I always had behind the scenes camera going, so I can show what it looked like behind the scenes and then show what it looks like in the finish. But forget showing behind the scenes, because when you see the finish, it's so great, and you can see all that on Vimeo.com, right? So this is what, you know, the realism of what we saw. And I said, oh, I wasn't the only one that went through this, you know, that went through this and saw this, right?
Can we say
what's going on to Roland Matthews? He's one of our great actors that comes in, and he comes in, he's ready and ready to go when he comes.
Lines memorized.
Right. He's just a great actor, right?
But you know what? The soundtrack was amazing, because this music going throughout the entire film.
That's right.
So great.
Quentin Tarantino is an auteur.
He killed it.
He is an auteur director. Auteur director is a person who knows. He knows every line. He knows where the laugh is going to be, where the serious, where the tearjerker is going to be. He knows what he wants to see on screen, wardrobe, hair, makeup, right? And he gets the people who can execute that for him. He knows where and what music soundtrack will go in the back to elevate a scene to the crescendo that he or she wants it to be. And Quentin Tarantino in this film delivers that. So, like I said before, he introduces you to all of these various characters, the main characters that are going to tell this story of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Once you, and the pacing on this is incredible, because the film, it shows you action through the film world of what the Rick Dalton character had done. Then they show you the action of him actually filming. Then they show you the downtime of Brad Pitt's character, Cliff Booth, and how he's introduced to the Manson girl named Pussycat, and how you see their interaction and how he's taken out to this place where old westerns used to be shot, and then you see who he is as a person. That he's not a punk.
His character really opens up.
He really opens up there, right? So you're introduced to this, and then it's building. And then all at the same time, there's parallelism going on. Because you see Rick Dalton, then you see Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski coming to move into the house that's in the gated community up the hill from, because they're in a cul-de-sac. Right? And then there's a gate that takes you up to the mountains, up to a gated community, right?
How would you rate the film?
You know what? I'm gonna give the film a 10. And see, because we're breaking up, I can't really get into what I wanted to talk about, which was how the pacing on the film was not like a regular Quentin Tarantino film. It's not like a regular Quentin Tarantino film, because you're learning about each character. There is dialogue, there is a plot that's moving through, there's parallelism that's moving through the story, and you're introduced to all these people, which makes you feel for these people. So when the actual act goes down, you are totally invested in the actors and the welfare of the characters. You are totally invested, and they have made you invested in what they are doing. Right?
You know, this is a great probiotic tea. They definitely have to become a sponsor. So so you have to excuse me because it is hot out here in Vegas.
It is hot. I'll say that, and I'm getting hot right now. With all this starting and stopping that's going on here, when we got the people watching, which is really really pissing me off here. So we're going to try to get through this. This is something that they're doing. There's no doubt in my mind that this is something that they're doing,
We don't usually have this problem, but we got this problem today. All right, so
yeah. Well, I'm gonna rate.
Okay, so the film, to me,
okay, go ahead.
the rating on it is a 10.
Right.
Right. The film is a 10. What would you rate it?
Definitely a 10, and I would give it a 10 because of the acting, of course. But I love opened up the character, and you were able to get like a little bit of the behind the scenes of each of the, because it's based. Well, we know the story, you know, Manson and Sharon Tate, but you were able to get a taste of like the behind the scenes of the other actors, because there are the other characters who were actors like Steve McQueen, right? And Jay Sebring, as well as other real Hollywood actors, but they had other people playing them. So you were able to see the behind the scenes of like the popular Hollywood actors during that period.
Right.
So you were like behind the scenes, right? But I mean, so he did like a really great job introducing all of the characters, and again, the music was just great, and the cinematography is beautiful. The clothing, the makeup, the hair, the art design. I mean, just everything was just well done. The architecture, like just every little detail. And speaking of details in the film, well, you know this from the trailer, but you know Brad Pitt's character is a stuntman. So literally every little detail, you know, when you see the film, you know, just look at his arms, you know, and his face, and just like the little scratches and everything that you would actually see on a stuntman, because of what their job entails, right? So they're doing a lot of jumping around, falling, and like a lot of the injuries. The makeup people, subtly, it's like it's real subtle.
Right.
It's like real subtle, like the details, you know, of injuries, past injuries from previous jobs, and just a great job. They did a good job, so I would definitely give it a 10.
Yeah, we have to apologize, people. I mean, this is not us. This is something that I no doubt that Facebook is doing, because we were having a robust conversation, and now I'm going to have to take all these pieces and tack them together for the replay, which is fine with me. You know, that's no problem. You know what I'm saying? We will go right on ahead and do that.
You too are a great editor.
That's right.
But yeah, and Hollywood as the backdrop, it was just beautiful. You know, everything just looked beautiful, like the different areas that they're driving through, you know, in the film, in the city. Just great cinematography.
Great cinematography.
So it was worth the wait, because when they showed previews to this film, like a year or two ago.
Right.
And we were just like doing a countdown, so we're like, okay, it's got to be good, because it's a Quentin Tarantino film. It's got to be good. And then when they introduced the cast, and you know, you heard that Brad Pitt was going to be in it, and DiCaprio, you know, Margot Robbie, like, okay, it's going to be a good film. And they did not disappoint.
They did not disappoint
at all. So I would give it a 10.
Oh yeah.
So I'm looking. It a 10. You would give it a 10 too. So I'm looking forward to.
Shantae Renee Gibson chimed in. Thanks for chiming in.
Yeah. And I'm speaking of Shantae Renee Gibson, I'm looking forward to her talk show. Also.
Yeah, her talk show is.
So I'm looking forward to her talk show also.
Yeah. So listen, the topic for tonight has to do with loyalty, right? And I don't know what the hell.
Like the characters in the film.
That's right.
Once upon a time.
There is loyalty that these two men show to one another.
Right.
The Rick Dalton and the Cliff Booth characters. Yes. They show to each other, which I do not believe that, you know, is necessarily exhibited, because to have love and loyalty for another person, you have to have love and loyalty to yourself. You know what I mean? So there's certain things that you will not do that will harm you, and thus at the same time you wouldn't want a person that you're connected to be harmed either or either. So, you know what I'm saying, you're showing loyalty.
right? And I think that loyalty is true loyalty is hard to come by. It's like if you're if you really want to do something and leave legacy behind, you have to show loyalty to those who actually make it happen, right? I had a situation where I was filming something, right? And I filmed the situation that the person wanted filmed, right? And for some reason, I filmed it, and then a person said that they wanted to get a copy, right? That they wanted to put in the archives to be able to have. And I said, sure, I'll put it together.
Right.
And so I put the piece together. Now, I wasn't supposed to do this, but I did it because the person requested it, right?
Because when do you really have time to...
When do I have time?
Yeah.
When I'm, you know, when I'm editing, I take time out of my schedule to actually go and do this. So I get to the location, and, you know, in administrative, my father did 22 years and 6 months in the Air Force. My mother had her business degree. So whenever I went around with my parents and what they did, people knew how to walk, talk, and chew gum at the same time, right? That would be, in Cleveland, Ohio, that would be black, white, whatever you ran into, right? So so I come from a place where people know how to walk, talk, and chew gum at the same time, especially if they're in administrative positions, right? So I take this presentation and I have it on a jump drive, right? And I say, you know, I have it. Oh, can you leave it? No, because I've had dealings before, and I know that people are disorganized, right? So my question is, how come people? It's not all, but it's enough to say, how come people here can't walk, talk, and chew gum at the same time when they're supposed to be in administrative positions? It doesn't take anything to take a jump drive, plug it in, insert it into the USB port, upload into a folder. Takes 5 seconds, less than, for a presentation. You know what I'm saying? And then the person can move on and move on. So the reason why I come up with loyalty is because I went back to the person that I was filming for, and I said, well, you need to straighten this out, because my time is not to be wasted. If someone requests, now the person that requests wasn't there, okay? So that means that the people that are working the facility should be able to walk, talk, and chew gum at the same time. So they weren't. So I went back to the person and said, straighten it out. So, because I'm a person about my word. I told the person, oh, I have it to you in a week. It was a Friday. Right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, closed. To me, a week is 5 days. That meant, so you closed on Monday, I'll be there on Tuesday with it, and I was there on Tuesday with it. Right? But then if I was talking about a production week, then it would be from that Friday to the next Friday. That's a production week. That's different. But when I said I'll have it there for you in a week, that meant that I'm counting 5 days. Right? And I had it there. Actually, I had it done the same night because it went up. Right? So, when you go there, and then the person knew that the person wanted it.
Right.
But then the person came off like I was a bother, or like they were trying to hold back some anger when I said, well, can you load it up? You know, because I know that the person really wanted it. You load it up, and then you looking at me, and I'm like, wait a minute.
So you're like, here, this is something your boss wants, so make sure your boss gets it.
Make sure your boss gets
But the
it.
thing is, but you know, all of the viewers, they can attest to this, because I know I can. I'm telling you, customer service is not what it used to be. Like, it's just not. Customer service is not what it used to be. So, you know, just like on another show, right, on the news, somebody flipped out at a McDonald's, I guess, and a woman came in, shot up, you know, she had a gun or whatever. She got into a physical altercation with one of the employees, and so she went to her car, went and got a gun, and, you know, that was just too much drama. You know, if the fries or whatever isn't right, you ask for the manager. If they, you know, whatever, contact corporate. It's not that serious, but the thing is, like, customer service is poor nowadays. And some people are able to just blow it off and be like, okay, whatever. I'll take it to management.
What's going on to Riley? She just chimed in.
Hey, Riley, I'll take the issue to management. If it doesn't work with management, contact corporate. And believe me, they'll contact you and they'll send you a gift certificate or something. Or you go to another McDonald's. But the thing is just that truly customer service is not what it used to be. It's just not.
I mean, it's just
sadly.
not because, I mean, like, if you're in, but see, there's one thing being at a McDonald's. They're young, you know what I'm saying? That's no excuse because now
these
they're
were
old.
older people, though, right?
Now they're old. But anyway, listen.
But still, customer
service is important, but when you're supposed to be in an administrative position, you're supposed to be able to walk, talk, and chew gum at the same time.
Right.
And if you're not able to do that, there is a problem, and my time is not to be wasted. Want to know why? Because I produce and I make sure that what comes through. Because what I realize is life is short.
Right.
And that's another thing. If you really want something, here's something that's very important about love and loyalty. Loyalty to self and actually loving yourself.
Right.
If someone tells you that they're gonna do something like film something, make something, and then they can put it up or whatever and do something for you.
Right.
Google their name.
Right.
If you don't get at least 10 pages of entry on this person or entity, then if they don't have a presence of their own on the internet, how can they blow you up? It's all theory.
Yep.
It's like there's practical application, and which would then be a hypothesis, an educated guess, because you have practical application of it. But then there's just theory. You think that this is the way it's going to be, but it's really not, because you've never actually really executed with it. And that's what it is. So when you get people to do stuff for you, you have to make sure that they are able to put a presence up for themselves. If you enter their name and all you see is a Instagram, a Facebook, a Twitter, and maybe an Instagram, and you've got a problem. Then that's like the blind leading the blind, right? That's one thing, right?
So not everyone is given training, or because it's customer service. So as far as even in the physician's offices, like they have to have some type of certification or training to even do that. So not everyone has customer service skills, or like even just growing up, like, you know, as a teenager, I mean, I worked at Burger King, and so I learned customer service just as a teen.
Yes, as a teen.
But not everybody, you know, has customer service skills. Just treating people with respect, you know? And so, I don't know. Sadly, as Wendy Williams said, I love when she says this, but not everyone, she said, was raised. Some people was dragged up. So when you go into some restaurants and stuff, or or either in the doctor's offices, right? Or either in the, it could be.
Look at Simo joined in. What's going on? So the main point is.
But the point is, it doesn't matter where you are nowadays. It could be in the grocery store. It could be in the anywhere. It could be in the library. It could be in the donut shop. You know, customer service. You know, that's what I love about TCs, and I say this all the time. Like, they have excellent customer service skills, and they are so cool there. You know, Sharon and her husband, the entire staff. And they make you feel like you're a part of the family, you know. And the food is great, but the customer service is great also. I mean, so it's really, really important. Customer service is everything. 'Cause through customer service, through word of mouth, people will come to you.
So loyalty and love and loyalty of self, right? Is very. There was a film group that I was posted to on Facebook. I just talk about these things because it's really ridiculous, and it goes to now the person I was talking about, the people I was talking about before were black. Now here's an example of white people. I come from Cleveland again, I said, and so we're used to people who can walk, talk, and chew gum at the same time, which means you have to have an ability to think. Now, so I'm posting on this one site, right? And so the person sends me a behind the message telling me that this group is for such a cinematography and all that, and he's claiming that my stuff doesn't stand up to what that is, right? Okay, but I've been laureled. I've seen my stuff play on the big screen. I've seen the sound boom. And so when I look at it, I look at the whole totality. I look at the picture, how I tell the story through images, color, movement, angles, all that. All cinematography, you know, specialty is what I do. Sound quality is what I really specialize in, which means that my things boom like this booms, right? And so I specialize in that. And so when he said that, I said, well, I see what happens. So I went to the page, and because you know the pages are connected, like people will connect you in the pages. I said, oh look, somebody connected me into this page, so I'll go ahead and post, so you can just share without actually going to look in the page. You know what I'm saying? To see what's happening. So I went to go look in the page, and I saw people in there that, you know, it was mostly just nothing but theory. You know, not practical application. Hypothesis, educated guesses from practical application, but just theory on how, you know, it's like you go take theory class to learn how to play an instrument, but the practical application is creating your own masterpieces, right? So it's just theory in there. So I went to go look at the person's page, and I saw something from the 48-hour film festival from years ago, and it was shot dark, and I said, well, I see where you're coming from, because you know that stuff, I can see where you're coming from because I saw that stuff from the 40-hour film festival, and that was great, you know, cinematography, So he said, you know, people get whatever. I said, what I see is hate, and you know what I'm saying, that's what I see, right? And then he said, there's no hate. I said I've been laureled. I've seen my stuff play on the big screen. I've received awards for it. I've seen it, right? I know what it does. But just on the small screen, on the thing, when people watch it and what they tell me, right? And so I'm sitting there, and so he was like, well, I would like to see some of your laurel stuff. I said, oh, you got to go to the website. They're all tagged with the laurels. But I told him I wasn't going to respond anymore, because I don't respond to people after a while, because people won't know who the fool actually is if you keep going back and forth. And being it was a private message, there was no need for me to tag it like that. I just said I'm not going to respond anymore, because it's clear that it's hate, right? So I guess he wanted to say that, and then after he actually went to watch, because he had claimed that I constantly posted the same thing. But no, I posted different things, because I have 23 films. Actually, I have 25, but I just say 23, not to make people feel too bad. But I could pull up a different film or a short at any time and put it across to the people, right? And people will laugh as if it was made yesterday, because just like music, good cinematography, film, and movies are timeless, right? So. And actually, the one I posted actually was laureled overseas, because I have a sensibility of European sensibility. The European film festivals really love me. That's facts. Okay, so anyway, so he actually went and watched, Then he came back and said, "Oh, I'm sorry. Ignore me. I spoke too soon. I didn't mean to do," because I never responded again. So he went there and watched. He said, "Well, actually, I never responded. I didn't see. I didn't understand, because every opening you see where I walk up and get the fucking award. Every time I open up, I show you. I show the man talking about do it yourself. And when you actually watch the actual interview I did of the guy over there at the Fringe Fest, he says it's not enough of that in Hollywood where people are willing to go out there and do it for themselves. They're always trying to put their hands out." Right? So he says to me, or he writes to me, he said, "Oh, I didn't know, and I really did like your Lion King, because when we sit up here and we review with you people, I don't sit up here and just talk jibber jabber. I actually talk technique, but I don't go and be heavy handed with it and say, oh, this is the technique and this is that and that is this." But you can see through the words that we use that we know and understand and overstand the making of film. Okay, so this is what's very important, right? So this is another example of someone who can. I know that's Simo.
Oh,
that's another example of a person who cannot walk, talk, and chew gum at the same time.
Right.
It's sad, man. It's sad. So I don't know if this is just a phenomenon out here, because when I first got out here, people told me that people have a way of flaking out here, right? They have a way of flaking, and they flake.
Right.
And I said, "Oh, they flake," and then later they flake. So I mean, it just goes through. So I don't know if it's a phenomenon, but my main point in saying all this is this: have some loyalty and love for yourself. And don't do things that will, in the end, put a bitter taste in a person's mouth who really is about getting it done, because we only have so much time here on the planet, and the only way that you'll remember is through what you leave behind. And if you don't leave any legacy behind, so Google Crazy D's, Lordland All-Star, Google the film review Lordland Films, right? Google, let's see what else here. Google Lordland Films, and just see all the entries that come up on what they do, and then you will decide. Then you say, well, do I want someone who doesn't have a track record saying what they think they can do through just theory class, or do you want somebody that already passed theory class and has actually done it? And so that's the difference, and that's the thing about having love and loyalty, because to have true love and loyalty, like the two characters in Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, I love their relationship.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
They went past theory. They actually had practical application of their relationship. They were actually friends to one another. And nothing changed that all the way through to the end of the film. And to have that, you have to have confidence and love of self and loyalty to self. And then once you have that, then you can have love and loyalty to another person. And so that's what it is, and that's what we wanted to get through before it just went all haywire. And I got to chop all this up and recast it again.
So you just used to that Ohio word is bond stuff.
Yeah, the Ohio word is bond. That's right. That's right. So people, this right here is the film review periodical I told you. That's the barcode that you scan, and you get your your discount on one full meal at TC's Barbecue Crib. You pick it up, you get to see, go and type in the addresses, and you're able to watch different episodes and programming. And this shows you how you can watch us globally in your city, state, wherever. I'm put it up there for the screen for a little bit so you can see it, and then you can follow those instructions, and you can see us in Africa right now tonight. You can see us in Europe tonight. You can see us in the UK tonight. You can see us in South America tonight. You can see us in Mexico. You can see us in Cleveland. You can see us in New York. You can see us in Florida. You can see us in Atlanta. You can see us right through your smart TV and Roku devices.
Right.
What we're saying is, I get it done because there's no time to play.
Yeah.
So that's what we want to talk about tonight.
Really, when the word is bond thing, like
it's very important.
Yeah,
it's very important, and you know, like to me, I'm done. I'm done with that. Once you show me who you are, I believe you, and then I'm done. I mean, there's nothing else to be said. I'm done. I'm moving on. Good luck.
Speaking of customer service, well, this is like a customer service segment. But like you should. Well, I have learned you have to stay on like track. Like if anybody asks you to do something extra and you already have your itinerary set up, you just can't get to it. So you can't. I don't make any alterations to my schedule, because I've learned when you change your schedule for other people sometimes, and then they don't stick to what they said they're going to do, and then so your whole schedule is screwed up because you're waiting for that person who said that they needed you at the time and it just, so you just stick to the itinerary. And like a lot of people say, well, I'll schedule you in.
You know what I'm saying?
Have to be like that. I wouldn't alter my.
You know what it is I won't be doing anything like, I'm gonna help you out so you can have something like that. Like if you want a copy of something, you're gonna have to pay. And you have to pay up front. And then if I go there and then the people don't follow through, then you got to get into their butt. But yeah, so people here, dealing with the different people and coming from where I come from, people have to learn to walk, talk, and chew gum at the same time, and be about business, and realize that, we're here for a very short period of time. There's no need to live in this fantasy world, or I'm going to be able to do this and I'm going to give this person a chance. It's okay to say that you're going to give a person a chance, but if that person can't deliver for you, then you did just wasted time. Whereas there are people there that can deliver for you and put it across because they have a track record of their own, right? And so I only bring this up because this happened, and then the person didn't do enough research to figure out. Then they come backpedaling, because I never said anything else to them, but then they come backpedaling once they find out who I am. Right? Because I don't wear it on my sleeve. But the main point is this: if you have love, true love and loyalty for self, then you will have love for others. Even if you don't even know them yet, to even give them your loyalty, you will have love for another person.
Right.
And you will not come off like a person that can't walk, talk, or chew gum at the same time. And that's what it's about. Show true love. Right. Learn to love yourself.
While in the theater, they showed a trailer again. We talked about Gemini Man starring Will Smith, right? So they showed a different trailer. The first trailer was great, so the second one is even better. But during the trailer, they played, you noticed it was Legend.
Yeah.
The song Legend playing
by Will Smith's son.
Right, Jaden. And so it was nice to hear this, because it's a good song. So I'm looking forward to seeing Gemini Man.
Yeah, I'm looking forward
to it. But speaking of music, we reviewed The Lion King, which is a great film. So there's the soundtrack. So The Lion King, The Gift. So there is the Lion King soundtrack, but then Beyonce it's her version of The Lion King, The Gift. I mean, is an amazing soundtrack, and I know you've seen it all over social media. The song Brown Skin Girl is on the soundtrack. And then she's got songs on there with Childish Gambino or Donald Glover. She's got, speaking of African artists, Burna Boy is on there, Kendrick Lamar is on there, Jay-Z is on there, of course, Pharrell Williams, just tons of people, international artists, tons of various international artists. Great soundtrack. Jesse Reyes is on there. You hear the voice of James Earl Jones. Just great soundtrack. The Lion King soundtrack. Not The Lion King. Beyonce.
Yeah.
Great soundtrack. And then you know what I like too is the Suge remix with Nicki Minaj.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
The Suge remix, yeah. That CEO Suge. That's the baby with Nicki Minaj doing her thing, making sure she stays up. So people, this has been another. We're gonna get out of here before they cut us out. Now I gotta cut all this up and bring it back in a fabuloso way. But this has been another great episode of the Film Review. Movies, music, culture, politics, and society. Facebook has done it to us again, but it's okay. It's okay. We had a robust episode going, and you know what I'm saying, they need to get that correct. But anyway, we need a new platform like Sam Silk said. But we are the husband and wife team. I'm Crazy D.
Tracey.
This is another great episode of the Film Review.
We are the husband and wife team. We are the husband and wife team. We are the husband and wife team. Stay tuned. We're the husband and wife team. I'm Crazy D. And this is the Film Review. Stay tuned. We got a lot to talk about. We are the husband and wife team that review movies, music, culture, politics, and society.
This is the Film Review. Movies, music, culture, politics, and society. We're the husband and wife team. I'm Crazy D.
Tracy.
And we review movies, music, culture, politics, and society.
Sunday at 5:30 on Crazy on Deeyon page on Facebook. Live stream. The Film Review. Movies, music, culture, politics, and society.
This is the Film Review.